right. Oh, why? Oh, okay. So apparently it's just whenever that happens. Okay, cool, 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 cool. Hello, everybody. Why is this so loud? Holy crap. Background volume. I think that's fine. Or is this the... Ah, that's the music. Okay, cool. Hello, everybody. If you don't know who I am, my name is Regressive Gamer, and welcome to the first day of the Choose Wisely Festival. If you guys were here Thursday of last week, I did kind of go over a few things here. We made the schedule, and then I know technically in the stream I put Ukami first, but I had a thing, or I had an email from the developers saying, hey, we had something come out this day, could you push it back real quick? And I'm like, yeah, sure, that's totally fine. So I ended up switching Death and Faeology and Ukami around, so we're gonna start with Death and Faeology real quick. This is one of the games that is participating in the Steam event hosted by Studio Ifua for the Choose Wisely Festival. So with that, we will get into this game. Alright, so I am actually genuinely curious. My name is not Augustine, but okay. Scarlet, that's my game name. Scarlet, hello! Proceed. Oh, this is insane. Okay, I actually am curious. I'm hoping actually, now that I think about it, purely for the sake of, I have no idea what noise is gonna go on through here, so this should be entertaining. Alright. Okay, so, grading first year assignments can be such an exercise in patience. Well, there's our background sound. Okay. I ought to remind myself that Faeology is a relatively recent science, only a couple of decades old. The university, the only Faeology university in the whole country, was just finished being built in 1905. Alright. It is still barely acknowledged in the academic field. More importantly, I've got to keep in mind that children... Why is this so loud? Okay, hold up. I have to turn this down a little bit. Alright. You can go there. Return. There we go. More importantly, I've got to keep in mind that children inherit their parents' prejudices and misconceptions. The human world has formed its own notion of fairies. Alas, I find myself unable to suppress a big sigh every time I read references to a poisoned apples ushering princesses into eternal sleep. Okay, you know what? Just... There you go. Be that. Alright. Into eternal sleep. A reference to the Cottingley Faeries is one I can understand since it was quite the sensation not too long ago. Although it would be clear in the eyes of renowned phaeologists that the photographs are mere imitations. A pity that Sir Doyle was taken in by it. Interesting. Oh. Hold up, I just realized. There we go. Alright, I ought to take a break. The grading session today has taken me quite a tangent. My beloved Oz. Aw, look at the little fairy. We love the fairy. I suppose having a fairy companion does give one an advantage in identifying genuine fairies. Oh, no, this is me. I'd say a break is in order, wouldn't you, Oz? Oz responds through trills that I've learned to interpret over the decades I've known them. The Cottingley fairies again? Yes, and Princess's eternal slumber due to poisoned apples. Oh, I love it. They're treating this like it's, how do I put... Words are not something I am very good with. So, I mean, they're treating this like it's very much a overused cliche. Essentially, that's how I am interpreting this. Correct me if I'm wrong. That's just, it's how it sounds. It's how it sounds. Okay. We don't care much for human princesses. But making poisoned apples is rather an easy feat. Okay. Shall I turn one of them into a toad in front of the whole class to show that Fae folk is capable of more than that? At the same time, showing them that not all fairies are a friendly bunch? I can't help but chuckle at the thought of that. I believe some might quit that same day if you do that. Besides, if other Faeologists get a hold of your existence, who knows what they'll do to you? Chances are high those people will try to pin you to a corkboard and vivisect you. I would never let that happen. I've always appreciated you pursuing Faeology to ensure that. This is the least I could do. We've known each other since I was 7. You've saved me countless times since then. Oh, this is a childhood friend then. Interesting. Very interesting. Okay. Well, you could have let me bleed to death when you found me. I would never. I would never. I can hear a delightful melody of chirps laced with a touch of whimsy, which makes me feel just a tad fizzy. Alright. Sorry. To me, okay. We'll go with it. Whimsy, but just a tad fizzy. To me, that caught me off guard for some reason. I don't know why. Alright. It seems that even the laugh of a fairy possesses some magical quality. While you're on a break, isn't there something else on your agenda this afternoon? Right. Mr. Henkel's letter. Thanks for reminding me. I retrieved the letter from my patron from a desk drawer. I lean back on my chair and read the missive aloud to myself. Dear Scarlet, how long are you going to keep me in suspense? Will you or will you not accompany me to this year's Leos Gala? I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Leos Gala. You could do a lot worse than forgetting your boring books for a moment in favor of whiling away an evening with champagne and canapes and invigorating company. And when I say invigorating, I am not speaking of those old sods with deep pockets ready to be exploited by way of funding a grant for your research. I'm speaking, of course, of yours truly. Do write to me sometime before Saturday. That's tomorrow's date, isn't it? Oh, I know. My delay in responding is entirely by design, I assure you. I'd hate to be getting the looks from the crowd like I'm a wet blanket. Faeology isn't worth my dough, they'd say. Oz's replying chirp is decidedly indignant. I nod to Oz in agreement before returning to Mr. Henkel's letter. In other news, I've heard that little Ruthie Blythe caused a minor ruckus in the city's hottest speakeasy. If your old friend Detective Cross hasn't been in the area at the time as well, who knows what could have happened. I find myself rather perturbed at this revelation. I would have telephoned Ruthie and asked what the story was, like when we were children. However, for better or for worse, we aren't on friendly terms anymore. I resume reading my patron's letter. Speaking of the detective, have the two of you been keeping in contact? He gave me the cold shoulder when I crossed paths with him at last week's benefit. I couldn't help assuming that his perfectly frosty treatment of me might have something to do with you. It's unfortunate that the extensive bonds you have with him should end in a rather bitter taste. As you have told me more than once, when it was good, there was nothing else quite like it. Yet you speak very little of him now, and I find myself wondering if he still holds a place in that guarded heart of yours. Wait, okay. Guarded heart. That, to me, for some reason, is speaking of a possible... This goes either two ways. Either platonically as friends, or the detective could be more of a love interest in this case scenario. Either way, let's continue. Alright. The letter is signed, yours everlasting, Oscar Henkel. Well, I've kept Mr. Henkel waiting long enough. I press a pen to a fresh sheet of paper to commence crafting a response. Oh, okay. No one likes those. Just then, a familiar rhythmic rapping pierces the silence. I glance in the direction of Oz, but they're nowhere to be seen. Oz must have camouflaged themselves in a heartbeat. Fair. If you have people out to actually get fairies, that is a total legitimate response. I put Mr. Henkel's letter in the drawer before calling out. Come in, Minnie. My assistant enters the office. She's careful to snap the door shut behind her. Professor? Yes, Minnie? Oh, her full name's Minerva. Okay. Were you talking to yourself again? That's right, you know me. I see. Sometimes I wonder what she must have thought while hearing the mumbling sounds of me speaking with Oz. But she knows when not to poke her nose into things. Okay, so does, like, nobody know that Oz is in existence? One of the things I like about her, and also what makes her the bee's knees when it comes to being an assistant. I'd hate to be the bearer of bad news, but he's here. Who? The police detective from the newspapers? Police detective? Even as I echo these two words, there's a sinking feeling in my stomach. Oh no! You know the man who made you crumble the papers and toss them in the trash can? In the end, we had to stop our subscription for the dailies. Detective Theodore Kraus? Yes, that's the one. Knowing Theo is here makes my world go momentarily off kilt. It's as if by the magic of the fairy tales I am malign, the ink in my patron's letter has manifested him into the reception area. Fun! Love it when this happens. Can't you tell him I'm out delivering a lecture on the far side of the campus or something? That depends. Is a lie like that going to deter this man? An astute question. She is truly wise beyond her years. Probably not. He'd happily traverse the entire campus just to torment me, I'm guessing. Oof. Alright, let him in. With a brisk nod, Minnie returns to the reception area. I barely have time for a steadying breath before Theo barges in. Excuse you? You shook my room. How dare you? He drops a box on my desk right off the bat. What is this? Why is he in my office? Yeah, and with that attitude of all things. Get your grumpy face out of my office. Now. Thank you. Well, look who the Oop. Crud. I cannot talk, apparently. Well, look who the cat dragged in. Not even a how do you do? Just slam my door shut, why don't ya? What? Do niceties suddenly mean something to you? I seem to recall you packing your bags and moving out without so much as a goodbye. Oh! Okay. Gotcha. I finally figured out what this is. This is, potentially, ex-lovers, essentially. That is what I'm getting from this, this thing right here, this little thing. There was no one to say goodbye to. I'm over here blinking. Did you find out I left only a few days later? Or didn't you find out I left only a few days later? Wow. At least it made it easier for you to leave, didn't it? There is a tinge of hurt in his voice that I'm only able to pick up because we lived together for several months. Oof. As my mouth struggles to catch the words hanging in the air, I feel the piercing, icy silence creeping in. I ought to break the silence before I freeze. What's in the box? He lets out a deep sigh that rather sounds like relief. Your things that somehow you didn't take with you when you left. Even that oddly crafted handkerchief you loved so much. That handkerchief was a gift for you. I see the corner of his mouth twitch. He's lying. What should I do with this information? Ooh. Okay. Alright, so we have a choice here. We can either reach out for the box to check or respond in disbelief. Do we want to give this guy the ringer or do we want to give... I don't know. I don't know. This is crazy. Alright. Let me... Huh. I honestly don't know. I mean, hold on. There we go. So... I'm trying to figure out what a good response would be here. I would say... Let's see. Alright. Looks like it doesn't really matter, I'm guessing. I quickly stretch out my hand to the box, yet he is just as fast in catching my wrist before he can open it. Oh? I withdraw my hand from his grip swiftly, like a startled bird soaring into the sky. That truly caught me off guard. I'd forgotten what his hand feels like. I was only kidding, although you really haven't changed much, have you? You just went straight for it. He sounds amused and slightly pleased, as if he just confirmed the accuracy of one of his deductions. Neither have you. I threw all of it away right after you vanished, he says with a subtle squint in his left eye. Another lying tale of his. This sounds like we're not over each other at this point. What the heck? I can't help but sigh at his antics. Of course you did. So, what's really in the box? Wanna take a guess? I do have an idea. Knowing him, he'd sooner face the whole Al Capone gang by himself and take their bullets before coming to visit me. This must be way more important than our poignant history. Poignant? Case evidence? I've seen boxes like this one before, but never one quite so large. It's a really big case, isn't it? He nods. It's the biggest of my career. And to come to me of all people, you must be on your wits' end about this. He looks away as if trying to hide how galling the circumstances at hand are. Truth be told, I'd rather face the whole Al Capone gang and— Really? We just said this. We already deducted this one. We know this guy too well, apparently. I'd rather face the whole Al Capone gang and take their bullets than to have to see you again. Gee, that stings a little. But also we saw this coming. So why would you— Hold on a minute. You think this has some sort of connection to Faeries? He flicks his tongue in exasperation. Oh my, it seems I've hit the bullseye. We stopped talking about Faeries at some point when we were still together. Those talks always led to a heated discussion and then into arguments because nothing I could say could change his skepticism toward mythical beings. Except our companion is literally a fairy. Does no one know that Oz exists? Is that the entire point of this? Okay, this is certainly the chance to tease him about it, though it might be unwise considering the emotional peril he must have gone through to get here. What should I do next? We could tease him, be a little bit more lighthearted, but I also don't know. I feel like let's go with the safest route, ask about more of his thoughts. I know this must be hard for you, but I can't help if you don't say anything. He sighs. You're right. As difficult as it is to admit, the things you've told me before about fairies and whatnot might have helped to make sense of this case. Oof. But I have to say, for the sake of my sanity, I still don't believe they exist. Fair enough. He appears pleasantly surprised by my answer, as though he was expecting a quarrel right around the corner. Little did he know, I've learned that it's moot to try to explain the otherworldly beings to him. So, what makes this case so significant? Why do you think it relates to fairies? Are you even allowed to tell me? I hear the sound of a chuckle under the breath like a bolt from the blue. For a brief moment, his gaze on mine seems to revert to how it used to be, until the seriousness returns to his face. Why do we have this look on his face? First things first, since I'm leading the investigation, I do have some discretion on what details to divulge and to whom. That is, if the confidant can bring value to the investigation. Considering we're a Faeologist, I'm guessing it's us. And I've known you for a fact that you can be discreet. Still, I must ask your sworn secrecy on this matter. You got it. So tell me about the case. Why does it seem to be of paramount importance? It's a multiple murder case, potentially perpetrated by a single culprit. The victims are chiefly middle-aged women residing north of the city. They're from old money families, the types that make regular appearances at high society events. Oh boy. I see. No wonder they're all tensed up. You're telling me. Chief took me off every other case and insisted I pull all my time and effort into this. It's only a matter of time until the press catches wind and makes a circus of everything. And with some of the victims' peculiar manners of death... He pauses. This is where the fairies came in. He silently stares and then sighs. I swear I must be losing my mind. You've got this. Now he draws in a long breath. And no one could hear that. 3 of the victims had a manner of death that the unit has never seen or heard of before. Oh. Is she salt? Is she salt or stone? Oh my goodness. Dang it. Her corpse almost looked like a carved wooden wind statue. Okay. Oh, I've heard of something like that before. Of course you have. I frown at him. Don't start now. He clears his throat abashedly. Without finding out what caused these deaths, and more importantly who did this, the press could spin the stories out of control. I don't want to imagine the look on victims' families' faces if and when the papers are making a razz of these poor women's deaths. Besides, what kind of depraved, sick bastard goes around murdering women in such a way? The city's already running on fumes, crimes becoming more rampant day by day. People shouldn't have to look over their shoulder every night. It's no way to live. Even as he lapses into silence, I say nothing. It's not just the city. The rise in crime is bleeding him dry too. Yet, I am unsure of what words could soothe those who are fighting it on the front line. I've never been where they are. The frown lines between his eyebrows grow deeper. You know, considering the victim's background, having these murders being exaggerated in papers would pressure the families to insist on closing the case as soon as possible. No matter the cost. No matter who's to blame. You're right. Innocent people are going to bear the brunt for this. This is a terrible situation. I feel my stomach churning. My arms cross on instinct, trying to hold my own disquidded in place. Is there anything you can do? I'm just one man. Try as I might, I can't keep those rotten police brass from lining their pockets. What are police brass? I've never actually heard this. Hold up. What are police brass? Just going to my phone real quick. Oh. Police brass refers to rank insignia, indicating an officer's rank, like sergeant, lieutenant, captain, and formally the senior leadership or command, the brass of a police department. Interesting. Okay, so that answers that question. Okay. Nothing but a pack of lowlives in high places. He exhales sharply, his voice laced with contempt. Then he fell into silence yet again. Similarly, words seem to have abandoned me as I can't shake this feeling of helplessness crawling under my skin. After a minute, he meets my eyes once more. Well, you're a good listener, better than most. He curls his lips into an almost smile. Will you quit with the conflicting facial expressions? My goodness, sir. I don't mind it at all. Thanks. He clears his throat once more. Alright, let's get down to brass tacks. This box includes case files, crime scene photos, a couple of blood samples, which I was able to request to bring to you, and several other pieces of evidence. Other than the strange manners of death, I've said forensics was puzzled too by the blood samples. How so? One of them doesn't contain iron. That's interesting. Nothing surprises you, does it? Well, about this peculiarity, I'd bring up something from my fairy books, but you'd always find a way to deny it. You're right about that. I'm still investigating the possibilities of unknown drugs or poison that somehow cause these oddities. But I'd be a fool to not go after my hunches and look into all possibilities. What about a robbery? It's ruled out. No fingerprints, no evidence of breaking in, nothing had been stolen. And motives? Revenge? We're still interviewing the city elites, looking for the possible motives. But it takes time. You know how it is. Yes, of course. They're very busy. Speaking of city elites, I know people who can be very helpful in getting some inside information. His expression turned sour at full tilt. Why? Why do you hate this? Who, that man? I'd said people, but yes, that man would be particularly helpful in this matter. Jeez. He scoffs brazenly and doesn't even try to hide it. Even at the first meeting with Mr. Henkel, there was some inexplicable tension between the two. Theo said something about Mr. Henkel feeling off and always hated it whenever I had something to do with him. Though it might be jealousy in disguise. I'm right. Even if he's barely in the newspapers, he's most likely at the pinnacle of high society. And I don't think he'll mind if I ask him a few things about this. Why, of course, he's always got a soft spot for you. Dude! Hell, he's probably carrying a torch for you. He's probably carrying a torch for you for a long time, judging by the way he follows you everywhere. Well, he happened to be interested in Faeology and has a lot of money to allow his development. Look at you, all ready to defend him. What are you to an item now? I might have steered this reunion right back to where we were months ago by bringing up Mr. Hunkel, but it was necessary to mention him. I don't know anybody else who would have the much information about high society. Besides, there has never really been anything, even if we did go fundraising events together from time to time. It was strictly business. Yet again, Theo seems to lose his reason whenever we talk about Mr. Henkel. Don't know why. Maybe he's jealous. I don't have the time or the energy to argue with him. What should I do? Try to make... He's already not gonna see reason at this point. Explain the truth about the relationship with Mr. Henkel? I mean... I guess we're not anything. We go fundraising events from time to time, but these are work. I've got to get money from my research from somewhere, you know. A relationship is strictly business. He gives me a dirty look. Okay, maybe that wasn't the right answer. Sure, I believe you. No, he doesn't. No, he does not. Besides, what I do with him is none of your beeswax. His voice becomes even more irritated. That's right. That's right. It's not my concern. Do whatever you want with him. Just make wrong, boys. Just make sure he can keep his mouth shut about this case. I can't help but groan at the turn of events. I will. While we're on the subject of useful allies, you mentioned before about blood that doesn't contain iron? I can take the blood samples out to the university's chemist. She's good at what she does. And she's from a rich family. She might know some of the victims or their families, at least. I'll trust your judgment. I take it this is you agreeing to help with the case. That's right. There are lives at stake. He lets out a soft smile, as though in quiet agreement with what I said. Thank you. Well, if you think it'll be helpful, you can even ask the people you mentioned what they know using the evidence items. But the case files are for your eyes only. Understood. He has fallen silent somehow, leaving an uncomfortable hush in the air once more. Suddenly a realization comes to mind. Does this mean you'd be willing to hear about fairies? About Faeology? That depends. If this was indeed fairy doings, and if through your investigation you can provide solid theories on 3 things. The culprit, their methods of murder, and their motives. Supported by evidence, of course. I'm sticking with the idea that there's a logical explanation, an earthly one, for now. Fair enough. I'd wager that We have approximately 24 hours to get some sort of answer. An answer that it makes sense. I can feel the papers are close to getting the story. While you are investigating this lead, I'll look further into unusual drugs and poisons. How about a Faeologist? Do you dare take on this challenge? Do I? Well, duh! Accept the challenge. Bring it on, detective. This brings a grin to his almost consistent brooding expression. Good. If you need anything from me, just ring me. Aye, sir. But you need to promise me that you'll not just hear me out, but also keep an open mind on fairy topics, if I succeed in what you asked. I promise. But I can't promise not to scoff from time to time. That's good enough. I ought to get going. Maybe this will be an opportunity for you to increase Faeology's credibility in the eyes of the academics. Maybe. Seems like some detective has been following the tiny part of Faeology in the newspaper. Says you. The one who had to stop the daily paper subscription just because some detective kept getting the headlines. How do you... Before I could finish, he had walked towards the door and opened it. See you tomorrow then. Or see you tomorrow around the same time. I hear the door closed. Hey, I explained with a hint of frustration. After some thought, I realized that he must have noticed the missing newspaper on my desk and my assistant's. Reading papers was part of my daily routine when we were together. I can only shake my head in disbelief. He hasn't changed much either. As I'm reminiscing about a few moments of our past relationship, Oz reveals himself again, now that we're all alone. That was quite the reunion. It was quite the reunion indeed. He hasn't changed at all, has he? I suppose. Although you don't have an obligation to help him. I know. But I've already agreed. Very well. Just don't overwork yourself. Yeah, thanks, Oz. I find myself slowly drifting into thoughts. A victim's manner of death, hardening into bony tissue, could be one of the fairy curses, ossification. If only I could ask Oz whether a fairy was behind this, and which one, but it is not that simple. Even if they are my longtime companion, fairies have their own rules about exchanging favors, and they are secretive about their land, too. A favor like that doesn't come cheap. At least I'm stocked up on milk and honey for small requests. Speaking of requests, I should get started on reply to my patron's letter. You know, the one that we've been trying to do this entire game, since we started. For some reason, he seems to be more insistent this time that I come with him to the gala. I retrieve a paper and pen and I mumble to myself as I write. Dear Mr. Henkel, I hope your recent forays into high society have proven more fruitful than they have in... Should I be hyperbolic? Oh, how... Dang it, I forgot how he was writing. I guess... Yes, maybe? More fruitful than they have been the centuries you've been roaming amongst their lavish ranks. Believe it or not, I have been considering whether the merits of trying to impress the wealthiest folk of the city outweigh the obvious indignities. You first brought up the possibility of my accompanying you to the annual Leos Gala a couple months ago, and I'm still weighing my options. How do I want to play this? Ooh, apologetic or coy? I'd say apologetic. We're not trying to be cozy, I guess. So let's go with apologetic. I still don't have a definite answer for you at present, I'm afraid. I sincerely apologize for my indecisiveness. About Ruthie, I can't say I'm surprised to hear about her latest flirtations with disaster. Since we're both toddlers, she's frequently found herself in trouble. Her fiery personality certainly doesn't help her get out of quarrels. I would love to telephone her and ask how she's doing, but we've drifted apart a long time ago. Nevertheless, I'm glad to hear that Theo was there to smooth things over for her. I've now arrived at the topic of Theo or Detective Krauss as my patron refers. I suppose this query was meant to uncover whether I still care for Theo. How should I answer? I am guessing based on our entire conversation, I would say the truth is sometimes my thoughts wander back to him. I murmur under my breath as I write. As for Theo, I must be honest that sometimes my thoughts wander back to him. However, such thoughts are fleeting at best. I have not a single moment of regret over that decision to end it. Upon sending off, I seal the letter with wax. I then turn toward my trusted Fae. Oz, can I please trouble you with something? You want me to deliver this letter to your patron, don't you? Indeed. This is the essence here. As always, please take care not to catch anybody's attention. You'll see it by tomorrow morning, I'm sure. It would be my pleasure. Thank you, Oz. I'm off. I'll see you later today. Yes, we will see the fairy later. I watch as Oz flits out of my office window and vanishes. Once the Fae is gone, I call my assistant to my office. Yes, Professor. Hold on 1 second. I rifle through the contents of the box. Carefully, I extract the blood samples that Theo mentioned. They appear to be stored in test tubes. Would you mind asking Dr. Rayford to analyze these blood samples? I'll do that, sure. As I hand the samples to her, I notice that she looks like she wants to say something. Over the 2 years we've been working together, I picked up on a few of her tells. What is it, Minnie? How'd it go with the detective? If you don't mind my asking. Oh, no, not at all. He's the same as always. There's lingering beef, of course, but we've sort of managed to put it aside for something more important. He has brought me a rather significant case that he suspects might have some supernatural elements, as hard as it was for him to admit it. Oh, good for him. I can't help but grin at her remark. I'm glad he didn't end it in a shouting match, at least. Yes, me too. I'll deliver the blood samples now, Professor. Thank you, Minnie. Minnie hurries out. I'm alone in my office again. Remembering the conversation about the case, I'm suddenly engulfed by unexplainable, eerie feelings. I should start the investigation right away. Oh boy. Drag and drop item from inventory to the desk. Okay. Select an item in the records, then press the icon to open the inspector and read insights you've gathered. However, hover the magnifying glass above an evidence to access the information and see the details in it. Use the blacklight to see invisible things. Read the encyclopedia to gain additional informations. Press the button to end the investigation. Okay, so tools, cord, police case file 1. How? Okay. Desk, record. What all do we have here? Curious. Oh, we also have a medallion for some reason. Are we just supposed to, like, drag all this over here? I don't know. Leo Scala. Oh, that's our invitation. Ring. Why is there a ring? Oh, that's Leo Scala. Okay, so I can go there. So, image. Another image. They all look like wood, don't they? Possibly? Well, no. This one looks like a wood corpse. That one actually looks like a body, so does that one. So that's probably how they got the blood samples, and they couldn't get any from her, maybe. Oh boy. Okay. Is there any way to, like, open these? So, tools. Department 3. So, it's not looking like I can actually hoard. Okay. Wait, what does this do? Okay. I'm just gonna put the case files away because it doesn't seem like we can really do much with those. Maybe? Yeah. Okay, help. So drag and drop items from inventory to the desk. Select an item in the records and press the icon to open the inspector and oh, insights. Okay. Okay, use the black light to see invisible things. Read the encyclopedia to gain additional information. Press the button to end the investigation. Okay. So, tools. That's magnifying. Mary Hatcher, age 19 years old. Manner of death. Death from shock due to arsenic poisoning. Time of death was around 6 p.m. Victim profile. A young factory girl. Despite not fitting the trend of the previous victim profiles, she has been I cannot pronounce that. Oh my gosh. Preliminary included in the case because she was seen having a heated conversation with the third victim shortly before that victim's death. Oh. Police report. The victim's father described her as not acting like herself in the days before she passed. Shortly before her death, the victim visited the police station. According to the interviewing officer, she seemed to be on the brink of confessing something when a look of terror suddenly crossed her face. She then appeared to change her mind. She hurriedly left the station without saying anything further to the interviewing officer. Forensic report. Prior to death, the victim suffered from violent abdominal cramping followed by diarrhea and vomiting, consistent with the effects of arsenic poisoning. Oh. Traces of said poison can be found in blood type A in the glass she was drinking from near the time of death. Blood contains iron and other elements commonly found in human blood. Okay, so which one of you guys is... Oh, that's the first victim's crime scene. This is the first time I encounter something that could be ossification. I feel sick to my stomach. No one deserves to die like this. Something's odd with her fingers. Okay, so... It's the third victim's crime scene. I've seen her Who did I just hover over then? I've seen corpses before, but never like this. There's another strange thing about her fingers. Okay, so tools... Maybe this will see something... Okay, nope. Wait, what? Wait, what's that on her hand? What do you mean, what's that on her hand? Okay, hold up. Hello. What's that? Okay, hold on. You, I need my tool. There we go. Wait, what's that on her hand? It's not letting me... Okay. Okay, what do you mean, what's that on her hand? A wedding ring seems to be made out of gold. Okay. I've seen this makeup powder somewhere recently. It's from Nectar Bell. This must have belonged to one of them, but which? I wonder if the owner likes the box design and carrying it around her pocket since it's already been used, or it's already been used up. Where? Oh my god. Oh, wait. I think it must be this box. Perhaps the chemist has some interesting insight once her family owns the brand. I'm guessing it was this. Okay. So... You, come here. You, go back in there. Alright, and then this goes with her, essentially. And are these two the same families? Are these two different? Never seen a coin... Oh my gosh. Okay, apparently we're looking at the coin. Never seen a coin like that before. I wonder... Oh, hello. What's happening? Okay, so it just up and did that. Okay, but it's not doing it here. Oh, hello. I've seen this before. This is a parasitic Fae. A failed transformation magic. What? Okay, well, come here. I would like my Faeology encyclopedia, apparently. Fae and insects. Some biologists have applied Darwin's theory of natural selection to Fae kind by putting them in the same genealogical line as insects, especially the Lepidoptera group, which includes moths and butterflies. This is supported by their similarities to each other. Beneath a special black light, some species of butterflies can glow by having a chemical known as phosphorus, which fairies also have. Okay, the similarities of fairy kind and insects as well as birds and others in animal kingdom manifest in terms of variance and magical fairy abilities. Okay, so all fairy kinds seem to be weak against iron, although a small amount of iron, such as in meat or blood, does not seem to ward off fairies. Historically, cold iron was often forged as weapons and used to repel fairy magic. The intricate use of iron, combined with physics and chemistry, is applied by Faeologists to develop a special blacklight to detect and distinguish the magical essence of the three main types of Fae. Beneath the blacklight, scry magic appears. Blue warrior. Okay, so scry magic appears blue. Okay, so beneath the blacklight, scry magic appears blue. Warrior magic is red, and parasitic magic purple or violet. So if that's showing red, that's warrior magic. Sustained blacklight illumination on an object imbued with fairy magic may reveal intricate details of certain complex spells. Scribe fairies. The scribes are high fae who are capable of expressing benevolence and kindness that's similar to humans' kindness, and they tend to be friendlier to humans. However, this kindness is only shown in the form of favor. This is Oz. This is Oz, isn't it? However, this kindness is only shown in the form of favor exchanges, and they do not go out of their way to help others like humans would. The scribe magic that assists humans is contingent upon the favor that humans deliver for them. For example, some scribe may use their magic to give blessings to humans who have done very... Okay, you know what? We need to... This isn't warrior fairies. Where are the heck? Parasitic fairies. There we go. So, fairies with limited magic consistently need to feed off other sources of energy, mostly drained from humans, such as blood, hormones, emotions, and life force. However, the mechanisms and rates at which these drainage processes occur are greatly varied. Notable incident: changeling. There are unconfirmed rumors that some high fairies like to capture humans and bring them into the fairyland for purposes such as forced reproduction, servitude, ritualization, combat for their amusement, and so on. The fairies leave changelings behind to mask their absence. A changeling is composed of several fae, typically of the parasitic type, magically transformed to look almost exactly like an abducted human. Due to the complexity of the fae magic required to create a changeling, the enchantment almost always goes awry. Anomalies, common among changelings, include an extra finger or an extra toe. Nearby heat conductors, such as small metallic objects, have also been known to repel or to warp the magic created by changelings. Okay, so this thing was a changeling at some point. You can go back into there. Okay, so this... Alright, name Mary Hatcher, 19 years old. Manner of death, death from shock. Okay, we already went through this. Okay, so record. We already did 4. And now we need to... Is this 3? Yeah, okay, so let's do 3 real quick. I'm curious. And you can go back to my tools section for right now. So, there we go. Name is Edna Niblet, age 64 years old. Manner of death, gnawing her own fingers down to the bone? Time of death around 10 a.m. What? Is that what happened here? Okay. An affluent middle-aged woman in the city. Police report. A friend of the victim reported that she visited the victim's residence to drop off an invitation shortly prior to the victim's death. The friend also wanted to check on the victim's well-being as she had allegedly been acting strangely at a party the night before. According to the friend, she witnessed an emotionally charged conversation before the victim and a young factory girl. However, the friend didn't think much of the interaction at the time. Okay. Hold on. At the crime scene, the invitation card dropped off by the friend was seen close to the victim's corpse and was taken in as evidence. Forensics report no traces of drugs or poisons. Blood type unknown. Other blood-related investigations are underway. Blood does not contain iron. Wait, okay, so victim 3 does not contain iron. Interesting. I would love to know how. So, poisoning, I'm guessing you... A wedding ring seems to be made of gold. Why are you just... Okay, so this middle-aged woman with the pearls is the victim. I guess this elderly man with facial hair is her father. Wait, what? I guess... Okay, this elderly woman with the fur collar is her mother, I suppose. I'm guessing it's this. And that's... Oh, that must be the victim. Okay. This other man in the darker suit may be her brother. Okay. I feel like I need to clear this stuff up. Like, I am confused on what's getting... Okay. You know, I am just confused on what's getting... looked at here, essentially. Okay, let's keep that image out. And then... Who exactly goes... I feel like you either go here or here. One of the two. Okay, we're gonna put you back in record. We're gonna keep you over here. What's with the letter? It's the third victim's crime scene. Her fingers. I've seen corpses before, but never like this. There's another strange thing about her fingers. Okay, tools. The only thing I can think of. Okay, so that doesn't do anything. Does our encyclopedia say anything about bone fingers? Very kind of insects. Okay, another example of Fae magic is invisibility. Fae factions in conflict. There are two main factions of High Fae, the Scribes and the Warriors. Okay. Blacklight, Scribe Fairies, Warrior Fairies, Changelings. Yeah, there is nothing in here. Okay. So, back into my tools. What is this? The first victim's crime scene. This is the first time I encounter something that could be ossification. I feel sick to my stomach. No one deserves to die like this. Okay, so that's the first victim. Something's odd with her fingers. What is odd with her fingers? Seriously, like, what is up with her fingers? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Where's her thumb? Is she a changeling? Wait a minute. Because, yeah, due to the complexity of Fae magic required to create a changeling, the enchantment almost goes awry. Abnormalities? Dude. What if I do... So this middle-aged woman with the pearls is the victim. Okay, never mind. Alright. So... Apparently, it doesn't look over your tools. Gotcha. Okay. What's this? This is a fourth victim's crime scene. Poor girl. It's a cruel thing to see youth being stolen so abruptly. And we already did this. And I think I already put the other one away. So... let's see. We already looked at all these. We already looked at case 4. What's the... Actually, wait. Can I look at you real quick? Nope. Alright. And then I can also go back there. Okay. So maybe... There's case 1. Name, Audrey Woodings, age 51 years old. Manner of death, hardening into bony tissue from afar. The corpse looks like a carved wooden statue. Time of death around 1 p.m. Victim profile, an influent middle-aged woman in the city. Police report: the victim reported hearing strange noises and seeing strange phenomena in the days immediately preceding her death. The interviewing officer suspected, due to the victim's strange behavior, involvement in occult matters. Forensics report: no traces of drugs or poisons from what could be extracted from the body. Further autopsy is still in progress due to the victim's manner of death. Wooldridge. Now that's a familiar name. Okay. Alright, so that's case 1, which goes with the ossification. What is it? That's case 3. We already did case 3. This is case 2. Susan Moore, age 40 years old. Manner of death: refusing to drink anything but her own blood. What? Time of death: around 11 a.m. Victim profile: an affluent middle-aged woman in the city. Police report: the victim's mother reported that the victim was suffering from a prolonged paranoid episode in the days leading to her death. Specifically, the victim was acting erratically and saying strange things. Forensics report: despite the manner of death, there are no signs of dehydration or hemochromatosis. No traces of drugs or poisons. Blood type unknown. The other blood-related investigations are underway. Blood does not contain iron. Okay, so case 2. Right, and we went through everything, so we will confirm. A knock on the door makes me glance up from my desk. I realize the sun is set while I've been absorbed in the investigation. Come in. My assistant enters the office. Dr. Rayford has arrived to drop off the blood samples. She wants to talk to you. Already? Yes, she's just out the door. I must say, I'm pleasantly surprised at her work speed. Alright, send her in. Minnie nods. She returns to reception area. Dr. Florence Rayford enters. It's only been 3 years since she has worked at this university, but she has proven her reliability more often than not. Good evening, Professor. Good evening, Doctor. Dr. Rayford hands over the blood samples. She also gives me her lab report. Here you go. Thank you. So, what have you found? The most peculiar thing is that there is no iron in one of the blood samples. Say, is this very related? Her question prompts me to ask myself, what extent of the case can I divulge to her? Theo did say I may ask the patron for information using some of the evidence. Although she has knowledge of fairies and their curses, can she handle seeing crime scene photographs? As I return from my thoughts, I notice her voice taken on a higher pitch. This is so exciting! Are you working with the police? Does this mean we'll get better credibility in the eyes of the public? Oh my, we're going to be in the newspapers, aren't we? And not in the usual corner spots, too. Oh, I can hardly contain myself. It appears she took my silence as a yes. It's good that she's excited about the possibility of advancement for Faeology, but her cheerful disposition can sometimes be rather overstimulating. As if on cue, a knock on the door arrived to spare me. The specific sound is familiar, more familiar than when my assistant knocks. Special delivery! Oh, crud. Okay, so this is Mr. Henkel. Mr. Henkel's hands are empty. And what pray might you be bringing for me? Is it you? Are you the special delivery, Mr. Henkel? If you wish to call me special, then I certainly won't stop you. But I did bring a box of huckleberry muffins for your office. Minerva, I was instantly enamored by your buttery scent. She's currently feasting on them. We can only hope she'll have a muffin apiece for the rest of us. Oh, hello there, Florence. I didn't expect to see you in this office. Hello, Mr. Henkel. Fancy seeing you here. Although, do you have a habit of making this office your sole stop on campus? She chuckles. That's just because this is where all my money went. A well-spent investment, nonetheless. He makes a retort at Dr. Rayford, but throws a subtle smile in my direction. How cheeky. So, Florence, what's been occupying your time as of late? She looks at me briefly, possibly wondering whether she should tell him about what she did for me. The usual matters, I suppose? I tried asking your father about you at the last soiree. However, he confessed he didn't have the faintest idea. You must tell me more about your chemical research one of these days. The colorful pursuits of you young academics thrill me to no end. You know I can't share all that much, Mr. Henkel. Unless, of course, you find yourself in the position to become the chemistry department's benefactor, then all their secrets are yours. A more playful giggle escapes her lips this time. I'm afraid I'm all tapped out financially speaking. Oh, I'm not buying that not for 1 second. He's telling fibs, isn't he, Professor? Well, now I certainly don't want to go in the middle of the money, er, I certainly don't want to get in the middle of the money talk over the rich. I wish I had that information, Doctor. It would make proposing for research much easier, with a bit of delicate leverage neutrally. Mr. Henkel laughs in amusement. I feel I should ask the reason he's here before this conversation takes an odd turn. On another note, Mr. Henkel, did you get my letter? Is that the real reason you dropped by? Upon recalling that I asked Oz to insert the letter into his mailbox, only this afternoon I'm about to retract these questions. Unexpectedly, though, he bows his head in assent. Your words have always had this immersive impact on me. Perhaps that's why you were such an effective educator. Whenever I encounter your written language, I long to hear it in spoken Man, there are some words in here, and I am just sitting here going like, crud, I can't pronounce this. I long to hear it in it's spoken post haste. Oh my gosh, why did that take me so long? Are you putting a spell on your letters by any chance? I think you're the one with the spells, Mr. Henkel. Your muffins, for one, have always been successful in getting Minnie's guards down. Oh dear, you two are making me blush. I suppose it's time I take my leave and let you both be. I am due somewhere shortly anyhow. Oh, that won't be necessary. I can't stay long either. Mr. Henkel lapses in silence as he continues staring into my eyes. It's difficult to maintain eye contact with him, but even harder to look away. I wonder what I should do. I ought to discuss the case, but both of them seem to be in a hurry. Should I tell Mr. Henkel to return another day, since I need to have an important conversation with Dr. Rayford right away? Or should I dismiss the chemist and meet my patron now? These are benefits to either choice. Soliciting Dr. Rayford's opinion on the case may be a good idea. She could share more insight on the chemistry side of the case. Her parents own a successful company that produces the powder makeup and evidence. She would also know the social happenings among the wealthy elites. On the other hand, Mr. Henkel is also a viable candidate for an interview. His connections within high society know no bounds. Everybody seems to know him one way or another. He might know things Dr. Rayford doesn't. Since he's been funding my research for a long time, he's also more familiar with the fairy topics. Whom should I interview? Oh, they both seem in such a hurry to choose one. Oh, crud. Okay, I feel like we should probably talk to Dr. Rayford because she did have our attention first, but we also did get your letter first. Oh, no. Okay, you know what? I'm sure we could probably talk to her again soon. Let's talk to Mr. Henkel. Mr. Henkel, would you mind staying for a while? I'd like to discuss something. Not at all. I'd be delighted. I turned back toward the chemist. Dr. Rayford, thanks again for analyzing these samples. Your assistance has been invaluable. Please don't let me keep you any longer today. You're quite welcome. I'm always happy to help. After bidding Mr. Henkel a swift farewell, Dr. Rayford is out the door in no time. What did you want to talk about, my dear Faeologist? I gesture toward the large box on my desk. It's a box of evidence from a multiple murder case. Is it from Detective Kraus? It is indeed. He brought it to me this morning. You haven't seen the detective in months, have you? How'd that visit go? I'd say better than I could have hoped. We have a chance here. You know, it wasn't really all that bad. I expected more bitterness and distasteful arguments like we had in the last couple of months of our relationship. He was more composed than I thought. Yeah, perhaps it's because of this particular case weighing on his mind. Okay, hold up. Why am I... Oh, hi Nicole. Sorry I didn't see you. I was supposed to go over that way. Alright, tell me about this case. How can I help? After binding my patron to secrecy, I rattle off the basic facts of the homicides. I believe I might have heard a bit about this case. Not the gory details, mind you. Just little whispers here and there. Yes, I was hoping you'd be familiar with some of the parties involved. I want to show you something. Please share any knowledge you might have about the evidence. Sure, I can do that. Alright, so... do I show him a changeling? I don't know. Let's show him the photo real quick. This is a photograph of Mrs. Moore and her family. What can you tell me about the people in this picture? I believe this elderly couple is her adopted parents. I've never really talked to them, but I hear they are kind and wonderful people. Biologically, Madame Moore was born as a so-called miracle baby to a wealthy parents of advanced age. When they passed away, she had no other family members by blood. Thus, she was adopted by a middle-class couple who were trusted employees of her biological parents. Or so I've heard. Upon coming of age, she realized her sizable inheritance and wedded a recently rich entrepreneur of humble origins. This is her widower in the photograph. He's said to be extremely close to his parents-in-law. Alright, so we have that. What about this family photo? That is a photograph of Mrs. Wooldridge's family. All of the faces here are familiar to me. I must express my deepest sympathies when I see them at the Leos Gala. Can you tell me more about the people in this picture? The Wooldridges are perhaps one of the most prominent and powerful families in the city. The victim's father was in the running to be the richest in the world until he decided to devote much of his wealth to lavish charitable endeavors. This elderly woman is the victim's stepmother, a beautiful socialite for whom the victim's father divorced her biological mother. This younger man is the victim's stepbrother. Okay, so we have that. I don't think he would know anything about blood samples. Would he know anything about... I almost want to give him the changeling. Okay, let's give him the changeling, see what happens. Is this a parasitic fae? Are they the ones killing the poor ladies? I'm rather surprised that he is able to identify a fae with just one look. I suppose he did read everything from my research reports. Considering he's your patron, I'm not surprised either. Okay, so we gave him a fae, we gave him some of the photos. Let's see if he knows this person. How terrible. I knew Madame Wooldridge. As you undoubtedly know, her family hosts the city's biggest charity event every year. They tell me the fundraiser will be moving forward despite the tragedy in the family. According to my sources, she loved that event dearly and definitely would have wanted it to proceed. Did you ever know her to dabble in occult matters? Knowing this woman, I did. I doubt it. If it would help, however, I've heard several elites are members of a clandestine occult group. I've only heard of the name, the Golden Dawn. Hardly anyone knows about its existence. But you have your way of knowing, but you do have your way of knowing, don't you? I say teasingly as he responds with a sly smirk. I do indeed. Okay, so... Wooldridge... factory worker, I don't think he would know her. Okay. And I can't give him the police reports. Would he know... Maybe he would know her? Did you know this woman? I did. She was a fine, upstanding lady. She certainly didn't deserve such a gruesome ending. She was known among her peers for a rare coin collection. From what I've heard, you can see her collection displayed in every inch of her house. Okay, he knows a lot about people in general. Okay, how about her? Are you familiar with this girl? No, I've never seen her before. Whoever this girl is, I express my sincerest condolences. Okay, and then the last one. Oh, how awful. I'm familiar with Madame Moore. Though the grapevine I heard the devastating news of her death, I often interacted with the exceptional woman and her sprightly spouse at high society events. They're both gracious individuals. This is the first time Mr. Hunkel and I are talking about something this gruesome, even though I've known him a long time. Yet, as he spoke his condolences while seeing the corpse's photographs, his face remained blank, as if the words never reached his expression. His eyes didn't even flinch. How odd. I wonder if this lack of empathy is just a trait of being in the upper class. Okay. I know he's not gonna know much about this. I doubt it. Is this the one from that popular brand? Nectar Bell. That's the one. Although that's all I know about it. Okay. Yeah, I was right. He's not gonna know much. What is this? I can't get him blood results. Actually, I wonder if he knows anything about a ring. My, this is very bold of you. Are you sure you want to be bound to me forever? Says you, asking that question knowing full well this ring isn't mine. He laughs wholeheartedly. So, whose is it? Mrs. Moore. All I can tell you is that she and her husband were always attached at the hip, 2 peas in a pod. Okay, I think that's all we can probably get out of him. So let's go ahead and end the interview. I have no further questions. I believe I have enough information for now. Already? Yes, Mr. Henkel. Earlier you mentioned you had a prior arrangement, so I won't keep you any longer. Thank you for your time. You've been incredibly helpful. I'm delighted I could be of assistance. Reach out to me if you need anything else. I'll see you soon, yes? I give him a brief nod. Mr. Henkel then leaves my office. I'm alone again, but not for long. My assistant pops into the office. Professor, I'm heading home soon. Is there anything else I can do to help? No, I'll be perfectly fine. I think I'll stay and work for a bit longer. Okay, see you tomorrow, Professor. Have a safe trip home. Upon wishing me the same, Minnie leaves. I have some time until I have to wrap up my work day and head home from the office. Okay, but we've gone through everything, haven't we? Maybe? Hold on. Let's inspect this real quick, because our tools. Where did my link? There it is. This is Dr. Rayford's lab report on the blood samples. This content is quite similar to the forensics report. While elements similarly found in human blood, such as phosphorus, carbohydrates, and some proteins, are found in their victim's blood, it doesn't contain iron. Moreover, the amount of phosphorus found in a higher percentage than in human blood, making it possible for this to be the blood of a fairy. Waldrich was a changeling. I am calling it now. Calling it here. Calling it now. She's a changeling. It would make too much sense. The fourth victim's blood appears to be a normal human blood with iron present. Traces of arsenic are also found. Although there is some new information I had expected to report to be more detailed. Then again, I did ask her to finish it as soon as possible, and she did deliver. Can't have best of both worlds, evidently. Okay, so then... Can we get anything off of the blood samples? I've read somewhere that most insects don't have iron in their blood. Alright, so that's an insect blood. So let's also grab this out real quick. Because if I'm thinking what I'm thinking... Yes. Look at this. This should not be doing this. Right? That should be a purple, I'm guessing. And this is black light. Okay, or maybe not. Okay, here's another sample of blood. Let's compare the two. This is the insect blood. This is... Yeah, dude. Can you let me... But then that just disappears. Arsenic, huh? Okay, so... Yeah. Arsenic. And then... Let me see. We only have the 2 blood samples. I read somewhere that most insects don't have iron in their blood. And... Let's see... If we're looking at this from a Yeah, some biologists have applied Darwin's theory of natural selection to Fae kind by putting them in the same. Beneath a special black light, some species of butterflies can glow by having a chemical known as phosphorus, which fairies also have. The similarities of fairy kind to insects, as well as birds and others in the animal kingdom, manifest in terms of the variance of fairy magical abilities. One magical skill possessed by some fae is transfiguration, which is similar to metamorphosis. Wielders of transfigurative spells can make themselves or fellow fae take on another form, including appearing human. Many high faes have heightened powers of suggestion through the emission of toxins capable of causing hypnosis or illusions. Yeah, exactly. So then, why is this not wanting to go? Does it need to be on the purple spot, maybe? Okay. So, yeah, think we're good. Looks like we ended everything. It's the next afternoon. How does time pass in this game? Oh my goodness. I should be grading assignments, or reviewing the lecture I'm going to deliver come Monday, or do anything productive in the realm of professional duties. Huzzah! Instead, I find my intention straying more and more toward the office door. I voice my frustrations to good ol' Oz. Theo will probably arrive at any moment. I can't stop wondering whether my explanation will be enough for him. In the past, no sort of explanation ever seemed to please him when it came to fairies. And why should it do so now? Okay. My voice cracks with concern. This time he came to you. Oh, hold on. Alright. This time he came to you, bearing in mind the possibility of fairy involvement. He'd be a fool if he discredits you so soon. My fairy companion's chirping becomes increasingly stern this time. But you need to get yourself together. You must remain steadfast and strong when facing the detective. Don't permit your voice to falter when presenting your findings. I know, I can't let myself unravel at this point. It's just that he's never solicited my opinion quite in this manner. A professional insight, no less. All the more reason to be as calm as you can be. Maintaining your composure is essential to delivering a persuasive argument. But no matter what happens, at least you know you tried. At the end of the day, he's the one who needs to solve this case. You're right, of course you are. I'm not a detective. I'm simply a professor sharing my perspective. Thank you, Oz. You were always talking me off the ledge. Just then, somebody knocks at the door. Oz goes and hides. That's my cue to sail past your window ledge. Best of luck. I whisper a hurried goodbye to my fairy friend. I'll see you tonight, Oz. Once Oz has flown out, I direct my attention toward the door. Come in. My assistant marches in. Professor, you have a visitor. The detective? Minnie nods. All right, send him in. Minnie nods once again and walks out of the room. Theo paces around a little bit after strolling in, he appears quite distracted. He finally stops and opens his mouth. So, what have you learned? I take a deep breath. Here it goes. I had to present my findings to perhaps the most sought-after detective in the police force. Theo investigates cases right where the crime scene unfolds, me agonizingly familiar with the grit and the grime of the city's darkest recesses. Meanwhile, as a professor, my expertise primarily revolves around the nebulous, the theoretical. I must do my best to stay calm and collected, just as Oz suggested. I've read the case files, victim's odd behavior shortly before the death could be due to hypnotic spells from fairies. The fourth victim went to the police station, but before she said anything, it seems she saw something that scared her away. What if she saw something not human? In the manner of death, you're interrupting me before I can finish. I have no time for assumptions. The papers telephoned our department this morning and said they found out about some of these deaths. So, that's why he looks agitated. The chief is preparing a statement for tomorrow regarding this, so I'll just cut to the chase. Is there fairy involvement? I'd say there is. Because, I mean, at least Wooldridge. In the case of Wooldridge, I'd have to say there is fairy involvement. Yes, I'm certain of it. I can tell his interest is piqued. However, I'd like to first lay out the basics since I'm pretty sure you've discarded the things I've told you in the past. He grumbles as if in admission to my statement. So far, we have identified 3 classes of fairies: warrior, scribe, and parasitic fae. Warriors have strong offensive magic, scribe's magic tends to be defensive, and parasitic magic is, well, parasitic. We Faeologists have developed a tool called blacklight to detect traces of fae magic. It can even be detected through photographs if the magic is especially strong. Warrior magic glows red, scribe magic glows blue, and parasitic magic shines purple. I found that seemingly fairies of one specific class are behind this. Which one is the culprit? I'm gonna say parasitic. We did find the parasitic. They're of the parasitic class. What's the evidence? I would say the dead fae. How does this prove parasitic involvement? I put the dead fae beneath the black light. This is a dead parasitic fae. Look, it glows under the black light. Is this dead bug the one behind the murders? And I can see the purple traces, but what about this red glow? He's right, I feel like I didn't think this through. You're right, it appears I should reinvestigate. What else you got? There is the 3rd victim's blood sample. How does this prove parasitic involvement? I sought the blood sample beneath the black light to show the magic traces. You see, it glows under the black light. I can see the purple traces, but what about this red glow? I'm taking a moment to collect my thoughts. You're right, I must have missed it. Theo lets out a long sigh. The look on his face says it all. He's profoundly disappointed. I swallow back a lump rising in my throat. Clearly, you've been thorough in your investigation. Either you're missing important things, or you just don't take this as seriously as I thought. But I do take it serious. Dude, it's mostly purple. What are you talking about? If I could just reinvestigate. It's hard to get any sentences out of my mouth. No words of mine could ease the way he sees me now. It doesn't matter. We're running out of time. I couldn't find proof of it being unusual drugs or poisons either. Even the most atypical drugs. Why is nobody talking about the 3rd victim, the Wooldridge victim? Even the most atypical drugs don't cause this type of bizarre hallucinations, and no poison could turn the whole body into hardened bones. His eyes narrow on me, full of accusations. Honestly, I can't believe this. You've decided many, many years to study it for his biology, and this is all you have to show for it. I know you're clever, capable, competent, but you ought to consider changing your field. You're not cut out for forensics. I feel like I'm just starting to see red. I can't see he's bringing up my profession this way. I know, I messed up, but you just crossed the line. He knows I try my best, given the limited time, but he just keeps hammering away. It hits me all over again how easy it is for him to make me feel really small. I'm just laying down the facts. He says it so nonchalantly as if he doesn't see the effect of his opinion on me. I can't do this anymore. My anger is beyond containment. I never want to see you again. Get out. But fine by me. I don't plan on ever coming back to this office anyhow. Upon picking up the box of evidence, Theo turns to leave. Don't let the door hit you on your way out. He slams it. I find myself striding relentlessly in my room, seething with frustration. Perhaps this is for the best. After all, there's a reason I walked away, and it's all coming back to me. As I was studying my breast to calm down, I realized something. I haven't explained Dr. Rayford's findings on the blood samples, how it could be fairy blood, and the significance of the scribe sigils on prominent families. Even more, Mr. Henkel gave me top secret information on a clandestine occult group in the upper class. I didn't have the chance to tell him all that. Well, so be it. I'm not going to write him or telephone him. Perhaps I'll just write an anonymous letter to the homicide department. But first, I have to finish grading the assignments that I neglected yesterday. It's been an hour and a half since I forced myself to get back to work, yet my anger hasn't subsided. Then it strikes me. I'm no more angry at Theo than I am myself. How did I fail this? Why wasn't I thorough enough? Still, that doesn't give him the right to talk to me like that. I bury my face in my hands as I realize I've merely been spinning in circles. Professor, is this a bad time? I look up at her in shock. When did she get in? I knocked, then waited a minute. It then occurred to me that perhaps you didn't hear me. Oh, sorry. My mind is more than a little preoccupied. The detective had an intensely brooding expression when he left. I figured that the meeting didn't go well. I can stay longer today if you need to talk. Thanks, Minnie. I'm not sure about talking, but I could use some company. Of course, Professor. Would you like me to fetch us a bottle? Sure. Any preference? Whichever bottle is biggest. Oh, jeez. Or whichever has the highest alcoholic content. Just something to take the edge off at this point. Ending number 6, Bottle Blues. Oh no! Oh, I got the bad ending. Oh no. Okay. I do have a little bit of time. So let me try this again. My name is not Augustine. Shut the Scarlet. So I am curious as to what we're missing here though. Okay, so we've already been through this. I am definitely going to. Oh, hey Deadeye! How you doing? Okay, so I am going through all of this, essentially. I pay that Dr. Doyle was taken in by it. Or Sir Doyle was out to take a break. The green session days. Okay. So, Oz. Say hello to Oz, everybody. This is our fairy friend. I suppose having a fairy companion does give one an advantage in identifying genuine fairies. So, I think our problem is with the evidence. Okay. So, how... Okay, so we need to... I need to figure out how to get the actual ending. Alright. Oh, interesting. Okay. So, I feel like it's gonna be a little redundant to go through all this again. Yes, and Princess Rosal were due to poison apples. I still love how they treat this like it's such a overused cliche at this point. That's not even true. To me, I find this episode hilarious. Okay, so we don't care much for human princesses, but making poison apples is rather an easy feat. Shall I turn one of them into a toad in front of the whole class to show that Faithbook is capable of more than that? At the same time, showing them that not all fairies are a friendly bunch. I can't help but chuckle at the thought of that. I believe some might just quit that same day if you do that. Besides, if other Faeologists get a hold of your existence, who knows what they'll do to you? Chances are high those people will try to pin you to a corkboard and vivisect you. I would never let that happen. I've always appreciated you pursuing Faeology to ensure that. This is the least I could do. We've known each other since I was 7, you saved me countless times then. Well, you could have let me bleed to death when you found me. I would never. I can hear a delightful melody of chirps laced with a touch of whimsy, which makes me feel just a tad fizzy. It seems that even the laugh of fairy possesses some magical quality. While you're on a break, isn't there something else on your agenda this afternoon? Right, Mr. Henkel's letter. Thanks for reminding me. Okay, and we're basically going to be writing to Mr. Henkel at some point. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so... Oh, jeez. Alright. So, we want to also get questions. Alright, and we have a couple things to choose from. Okay. So, we'll reach out to the box. Alright, and then we'll ask more about his thoughts. Because we already went down this road. I already made these same decisions. Let's see. Okay, so last time we explained the truth. Let's try to make him see reason this time. Doesn't matter. You came here despite everything. You knew you've got to do whatever it takes to solve this case. So do it. He's taken aback by what I said and plunges into his own thoughts. I swear, one of these days you'll be the end of me. Fine. Just make sure fine. Just be sure you can keep it under his hat. I sigh in relief. I will. While we're on the subject of useful allies, you mentioned more before about blood that doesn't contain iron. I can take that blood sample to the university's chemist. She's good at what she does. And she is from a rich family. She might know some of the victims of their families, at least. I'll trust your judgment. I take it this is you agreeing to help with the case. That's right. There are lives at stake. You let out a soft smile as though in quite agreement with what I said. Thank you. Well, if you think I'll be helpful, you can even ask the people you mentioned what they know using the evidence items. But the case files are for your eyes only. Understood. He has fallen silent somehow, leaving an uncomfortable hush in the air once more. Suddenly a realization comes to mind. Does this mean you'd be willing to hear about fairies, about Faeology? That depends. If this was indeed Faeries' doing, and if through your investigation you can provide solid theories on the three things. Culprit, methods, motives. Supported by evidence, of course. I'm sticking with the idea that there's a logical explanation, an earthly one for now. Fair enough. I'd wager that we have approximately 24 hours to get some of the answers. An answer that makes sense. Okay. I can feel the papers are close to getting the story. We already had this already, so we will accept the challenge. Bring it on, detective. We already had this choice as well. Good. If you need anything from me, just ring me. Aye, sir. But you need to promise me that you'll not just hear me out, but also keep an open mind on fairy topics if I succeed in what you asked. I promise. But I can't promise not to scoff from time to time. That's good enough. Now to get going. Maybe this will be an opportunity for you to increase Faeology's credibility in the eyes of the academics. Maybe. Seems like some detective has been following the tiny part of Faeology in the newspaper. Says you. The one who had to stop the daily paper subscription just because some detective kept getting the headlines. Before I could finish, he had walked towards the door and opened it. See you tomorrow around the same time. I hear the door close. Hey, I exclaim with a hint of frustration. After some thought, I realized that he must have noticed the missing newspaper on my desk, and my assistant's. Reading the papers was part of my daily routine when we were together. I can only shake my head in disbelief. He hasn't changed much either. As I'm reminiscing about a few moments of our past relationship, Oz reveals himself again, now that we're all alone. That was quite the reunion. It was quite the reunion indeed. He hasn't changed at all, has he? I suppose. Although, you don't have an obligation to help him. I know, but I've already agreed. Very well, just don't overwork yourself. Yeah, thanks, Oz. I find myself slowly drifting into thoughts. The victim's manner of death hardening into bony tissue could be one of the fairy curses, ossification. If only I could ask Oz whether a fairy was behind this, and which one. But it's not that simple. Even if they are my longtime companion, fairies... Okay, so this is already information that we found out about in the last run, so we're just... Okay. Alright, and then... let's see... Okay, so... And... I say let's be hyperbolic, yes. And we already did this already. Be apologetic. And... let's see. Sometimes my thoughts wander back to him. As for Theo, I must be honest that sometimes my thoughts wander back to him. However, such thoughts are fleeting at best. We already did this choice as well. Okay. So I just want to quickly run through this one real quick as well, even though I technically have until 5, I think, is what I put this for. Okay, so drag and drop an item from the inventory to the desk. Okay, and this is what we're missing here. This is what I am missing. Alright, so record. Alright. So case 1, which goes with her, I think, right? Tools, modifying class. The first victim's crime scene. This is the first time I encountered something that could be ossification. I feel sick to my stomach. No one deserves to die like this. Something's odd with her fingers. Yeah, she has 6 of them, I swear. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Where's her thumb? Also, we can't even see her hand. Okay. And then for this. Name, Audrey Wooldridge. Age, 51 years old. Manner of death, hardening into bony tissue. From afar, the corpse looks like a carved wooden statue. Time of death, 1 p.m. Victim profile, an affluent, middle-aged woman in the city. Police report. The victim reported hearing strange noises and seeing strange phenomena in the days immediately preceding her death. The interviewing officer suspected, due to the victim's strange behavior, involvement in occult matters. Forensics report. No traces of drugs or poisons from what could be extracted from the body. Further autopsy is still in progress due to the victim's manner of death. Holdridge. That's a familiar name. Alright. So, we need this. That can go back. Case 2. I'm guessing this is the second photo as well. Alright. This seems to be the second victim's crime scene. Her complexion, it's not quite the pale hue of death. Far paler than should be possible, almost drained of color. Something's odd with her fingers. What am I looking at? Is this what I need to put in the black light? Let me ask this. No. For some odd reason. Why does this not want to... Okay. Seems to be the second victim's crime scene. Something's odd with her fingers. What is odd with her... Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... Oh! Changeling! What the heck? Also has 6 fingers. What? No, seriously though. Wait, what? The heck is this? Yeah, I'm aware of this. Okay, so 6 Alright, so Woolridge basically became bony tissue. I never realized she had 6 fingers. I didn't even think about that, honestly. And yet you can't see it in the black lighting, and it's frustrating. Okay, so record, we'll turn that into that. Case 3. Okay, so wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Why does everybody here have 6 fingers? Why does everybody here have 6 fingers? Okay, it's the third victim's crime scene. Her fingers. I've seen corpses before, but never like this. There's another strange thing about her fingers. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait. Yeah, why? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 6 fingers. Everybody has 6 fingers, evidently. Okay. Yeah. Case 3, what are you? Edna Niblet, age 64 years old. Manner of death, gnawing her own fingers down to the bone around 10 a.m. An affluent middle-aged woman in the city. A friend of the victim reported that she visited the victim's residence to drop off an invitation shortly prior to the victim's death. The friend also wanted to check on the victim's well-being before she had allegedly been acting strangely at the party the night before. Oh, fun. Okay, so according to the friend, she witnessed an emotionally charged conversation between the victim and a young factory girl. However, the friend didn't think much of the interaction at the time. At the crime scene, the invitation card dropped off by the friend was seen close to the victim's corpse and was taken in as evidence. No traces of drugs or poisons, blood type unknown, other blood-related investigations are underway. Blood does not contain iron. Okay, so they took the invitation for questioning. Which is this. My patron invited me to this event. I'm still uncertain if I want to attend. But this was also seen with her then. Oh, this is interesting. This is very interesting. Okay, so we'll put 3 back. Excuse you. Okay, I probably have to put this back there. Now you can go there. And the invitation can go where it needs to go. I think this goes with case 2, I believe. Because that's her wedding ring. Alright. A wedding ring seems to be made out of gold. Oh, red magic. Okay, so the ring is red magic. Gotcha. And that might have been what I was missing. Dang it, that does not need to go there. Go there. Go there. Okay, go there. Never seen a coin like this. It looks rare. And this is changeling magic. Huh? What's happening? Come on, keep burning it. Thank you. I've never seen this before. This is a parasitic fae. A failed transformation magic. Okay. So we have a Fae. And then anything here to note? No. I've seen this makeup powder somewhere recently. It's from Nectar Bell. This must belong to one of them, but which? I wonder if the owner likes the box design and carrying it around her pocket since it's already used up. Perhaps the chemist has some interesting insight since her family owns the brand. Okay. So there's that. Can we... Okay, so the magnifying glass doesn't seem to do anything with you. Oh! Wait a minute, I have never actually... Okay, so that's a parasitic Fae. Okay, so the next question would be... What... I didn't even think about reading the warrior fairies, honestly. So let me... The high Faes of the warrior faction frequently reside in groups and are territorial. They are protective of their troops and tend to be unfriendly towards outsiders, especially if they come from the scribe faction or are human. They will smite anyone who interferes with their group. Humans entering their territory, even if accidentally, may face elimination through the warrior's offensive magic. Although fairy warriors typically remain within their own kind and seldom venture beyond the boundaries of the fairy realm, they are known for their aggressive temperament and volatile disposition. Caution is strongly advised when encountering and interacting with these beings. Okay, but then these are the parasitic fairies. And these are the ones that create the changelings. So this doesn't make sense to me. This is... Alright. And I think we already looked over that. So the last two things is this. Wait, that's... What's that on her hand? It's scribe? Okay, so scribe, apparently. Hold up. Didn't... Oh, I saw some on their hands. Scribe... Okay, so it's just these two. And it's... Yeah. And I'm thinking those two are the same, is my guess. Record. Hold up. Was there anything on her? No. Because... What the heck? Okay, so we see the scribe. She's... Okay. I don't have anything to go off of here. Still. And I think I've gone over everything already. Right? Yeah. So then, wait. Did I go over these photos with the blacklight as well? No? Okay, so crime scene photo doesn't have it. You already don't have anything. I already went over you with the blacklight. Nope. What about... No. It's not even that. Okay, so... Wait a minute. Hold on. So if you're a red warrior magic, but then... What's on her hand? It's a scribe. And it's just on her hand, but then it's also on their hands. Interesting. And did I look over everything? I feel like... There is no mistaking it. The structure of the thorax, antenna, curvature, elongate legs, they're exactly the same as the parasitic Fae I cataloged several months ago. What happened to you, poor Fae? Of course, no response is forthcoming. So this middle-aged woman with the pearls is the victim. I guess the elderly man with the facial hair is her father. This elderly woman with the fur collar is her mother, I suppose. This other man in the darker suit may be her brother. So this middle-aged woman in the collared blouse is the victim. Right, so I guess this elderly man in the suit is her father. The elderly woman wearing the cardigan is her mother, I suppose. This bespectacled man is perhaps her brother? But it's not. Okay. And then a wedding ring. A wedding ring seems to be made out of gold. I feel like I've gone over everything, right? Do I need to go over these in blacklight? No, I don't think that's gonna work. Okay. So I've gone over everything. Tools. And I am missing something evidently. So the desk. Okay. Select the item in the records and press the icon to open the inspector. Wait a minute. Select an item in the records and press the icon to open the inspector and read insights you've gathered. Okay. Oh. So case 1, Audrey Woodings. Okay, 51 years old, manner of death. Hardening into bony tissue from afar, the corpse looks like a carved wooden statue. Okay, an affluent middle-aged woman. The victim reported hearing strange noises and seeing strange phenomena in the days immediately preceding her death. The interviewing officer... Okay, yeah. So the interviewing officer suspected due to the victim's... Forensics report, no traces of drugs or poisons from what could be extracted from the body. Further autopsy is still in progress due to the victim's manner of death. Okay. Police report the victim reported hearing the strange noises and seeing strange phenomena. Okay. Alright, so Susan Moore. Oh, okay, so I need to pull out Susan real quick, apparently. We have Eden Nibbit. We also don't have Mary Hatcher. How did I miss Mary Hatcher? Okay, so... Mary Hatcher, 19 years old. Death from shock due to arsenic poisoning. Time of death around 6 p.m. Victim profile, a young factory girl. Despite not fitting the trend of the previous victim profile, she's been preliminarily included in this case because she was having a heated conversation with the third victim shortly before that victim's death. The victim's father described her as not acting like herself in the days before she passed. Shortly before her death, the victim visited the police station. According to the interviewing officer, she seemed to be on the brink of confessing something when a look of terror suddenly crossed her face. She then appeared to change her mind. She hurriedly left the station without saying anything further to the interviewing officer. Forensics report. Prior to the death, the victim suffered from violent and abdominal cramping followed by diarrhea and vomiting, consistent with the effects of arsenic poisoning. Traces of poison can be found in blood type A and the glass she was drinking from near the time of death. Blood contains iron and other elements commonly found in human blood. Okay. Well, I should still need that out. Okay. Crime scene photo of the third victim. And Susan Moore was the last one. Okay. And with that, that is everything that we have found. We will end the investigation. Okay, a knock on the door makes me glance up from my desk. I realize the sun is set while I've been absorbed in the investigation. Come in! My assistant enters the office. Dr. Rayford has arrived to drop off the blood samples, and she wants to talk to you. Already? Yes, she's just out the door. I must say, I'm pleasantly surprised at her work speed. Alright, send her in. Minerva nods. She returns to the reception area. Dr. Florence Rayford enters. It has been only 3 years since she has worked at this university, but she has proven her reliability more often than not. Good evening, Professor. Good evening, Doctor. Dr. Rayford hands over the blood samples. She also gives me her lab report. Here you go. Thank you. So, what have you found? The most peculiar thing is that there is no iron in one of the blood samples. Say, is this fairy related? Her question prompts me to ask myself to what extent of the case can I divulge to her. Theo did say I may ask the patron or her for information using some of the evidence. Although she has knowledge of fairies and their curses, She can handle seeing crime scene photos. Or can she handle seeing crime scene photographs? As I returned from my thoughts, I noticed her voice taking on a higher pitch. This is so exciting! Are you working with the police? Does this mean we'll get better credibility in the eyes of the public? Oh my, we're going to be in newspapers, aren't we? And not on the usual corner spots, too. Oh, I can hardly contain myself. It appears she took my silence as a yes. It's good that she's excited about the possibility of advancement for Faeology, but her cheerful disposition can sometimes be rather overstimulating. As if on cue, a knock on the door arrived to spare me. This specific sound is familiar, more familiar than when my assistant knocks. Special delivery. Mr. Mr. Henkel's hands are empty. And what, pray, might you be bringing for me? Is it you? Are you the special delivery, Mr. Henkel? If you wish to call me special, then I certainly won't stop you. But I did bring a box of huckleberry muffins for your office. Minerva was instantly enamored by their buttery scent. She's currently feasting on them. We can only hope she'll leave a muffin apiece for the rest of us. Oh, hello, Florence. I didn't expect to see you in this office. Hello, Mr. Henkel. Fancy seeing you here. Although you do have a habit of making this office your sole stop on campus. She chuckles. That's because this is where all my money went. A well-spent investment, nonetheless. He makes a retort at Dr. Rayford, but throws a subtle smile in my direction. How cheeky. So, Florence, what has been occupying your time as of late? She looks at me briefly, possibly wondering whether she should tell him about what she did for me. The usual matters, I suppose. I tried asking your father about you at the last soiree. However, he confessed he hadn't the faintest idea. You must tell me more about how your chemical research one of these days. The colorful pursuits of you young academics thrill me to no end. You know I can't share all that much, Mr. Henkel. Unless, of course, you find yourself in the position to become the chemistry department's benefactor, then all secrets are yours. A more playful giggle escapes her lips this time. I am afraid I'm all tapped out, financially speaking. Oh, I'm not buying that, not for 1 second. He's telling fibs, isn't he, Professor? Well, now I certainly don't want to get in the middle of the money talk of the rich. I wish I had that information, Doctor. It would make proposing for research much easier, with a bit of delicate leverage, naturally. Mr. Henkel laughs in amusement. I feel I should ask the reason he's here before this conversation takes an odd turn. On another note, Mr. Henkel, did you get my letter? Is that the real reason you dropped by? Upon recalling that I asked Oz to insert the letter into his mailbox only this afternoon, I'm about to retract these questions. Unexpectedly, though, he bows his head in assent. Your words have always had this immersive impact on me. Perhaps this is why you are such an effective educator. Whenever I encounter your written language, I long to hear it spoken post-haste. Are you putting a spell on your letters by any chance? I think you're the one with all the spells, Mr. Henkel. Your muffins, for one, have always been successful in getting Minnie's guards down. Oh dear, you two are making me blush. I suppose it's time I take my leave and let you both be. I'm due somewhere shortly anyhow. Oh no, that might not be necessary. I can't stay long either. Mr. Henkel lapses into silence as he continues staring into my eyes. It's difficult to maintain eye contact with him, but even harder to look away. I wonder what I should do. I ought to discuss the case, but both of them seem to be in a hurry. Should I tell Mr. Henkel to return another day, since I need to have an important conversation with Dr. Rayford right away? Or should I dismiss the chemist and meet with my patron now? There are benefits to either choice. Soliciting Dr. Rayford's opinion on the case may be a good idea. She could share more insight on the chemistry side of the case. Her parents own a successful company that produces the powder, makeup, and evidence. She would also know the social happenings among the wealthy elites. On the other hand, Mr. Henkel is also a viable candidate for an interview. His connections with high society know no bounds. Everybody seems to know him one way or another. He might know things Dr. Rayford doesn't. Since he has been funding my research for a long time, he's also more familiar with fairy topics. Whom should I interview? Okay, so... I'm trying to figure out which way I should go with this. Okay. trying to figure out. Okay. I doesn't look like we really. We can go either way. I say let's go with Mr. Henkel again. Mr. Henkel, would you mind staying for a while? I'd like to discuss something. No, not at all. I'd be delighted. I turned back to the chemist. Dr. Rayford, thanks again for analyzing these samples. Your assistance has been invaluable. Please don't let me keep you any longer today. You're quite welcome. I'm always happy to help. After bidding Mr. Henkel, bidding Mr. Finkel a swift farewell, Dr. Rayford is out the door in no time. What do you need to talk about, my dear Faeologist? I gestured toward the large box on my desk. It's a box of evidence for a multiple murder case. Is it from Detective Krauss? It is indeed. He brought it to me this morning. You haven't seen the detective in months, have you? How'd that visit go? Oh, it's better than I could have hoped. I expected more bitterness and distasteful arguments like we had in the last couple months of our relationship. He was more composed than I thought. Yet perhaps it was because of this particular case weighing on his mind. Mr. Henkel listens to me quietly, but it's hard to tell what he is thinking from his phlegmatic expression. Alright, tell me about this case. How can I help? After binding my patron to secrecy, I rattle off the basic facts of the homicides. I believe I might have heard a bit about this case. Not the gory details, mind you. Just the little whispers here and there. Yes, I was hoping you'd be familiar with some of the parties involved. I wanted to show you everything. Please, share any knowledge you might have about the evidence. Sure, I can do that. Okay. So... you wouldn't probably know about this. This is a photograph of Mrs. Moore and her family. What can you tell me about the people in this picture? I believe this elderly couple is her adoptive parents. I've never really talked to them, but I hear they're kind, wonderful people. Biologically, Madame Moore was born as a so-called miracle baby to wealthy parents of advanced age. When they passed away, she had no other family members by blood. She was thus adopted by a middle-class couple who were trusted employees of her biological parents, or so I've heard. Upon coming of age, she received her sizable inheritance and wedded a recently rich entrepreneur of humble origins. This is her widower in the photograph. He's said to be extremely close to his parents-in-law. Okay. This is a photograph of Mrs. Wooltridge's family. All the faces here are familiar to me. I must express my deepest sympathies when I see them at the Leos Gala. Can you tell me more about the people in this picture? The Wooltridges are perhaps one of the most prominent and powerful families in the city. The victim's father was in the running to be the richest in the world until he decided to devote much of his wealth to lavish charitable endeavors. This elderly woman is the victim's stepmother, a beautiful socialite for whom the victim's father divorced her biological mother. This younger man is the victim's stepbrother. Okay. Does he know anything about this? Oh, I see. This is interesting indeed. I can see why the detective came to you with this case. I'm sure Florence knows more than I do. Yeah, so Florence would know more about the blood samples. Oh. Which I'm wondering if we shouldn't have interviewed her with this. Crud. Okay, Is this the one from that popular brand? Nectar Bell. That's the one, although that's all I know about it. Yeah. My, this is very bold of you. Are you sure you want to be bound to me forever? Says you, asking that question, knowing full well this ring isn't mine. He laughs wholeheartedly. So whose is it? Mrs. Moore. All I can tell you is that she and her husband were always attached at the hip, 2 peas in a pod. Yeah, Yes, both have benefits. I agree, but I wish... if he knows more about people, I feel like then Rayford would have probably been the better choice. Do you know this woman? I did. She was a fine, upstanding lady. She certainly didn't deserve such a gruesome ending. She was born among her peers for a rare coin collection. From what I've heard, you can see her collection displayed in every inch of her house. Okay. Are you familiar with this girl? No, I've never seen her before. Whoever this girl is, I express my sincerest condolences. And her. Oh, how awful. I was familiar with Madame Moore. Though the grapevine I heard the devastating news of her death. I often interacted with this exceptional woman and her sprightly spouse at high society events. They are both gracious individuals. Okay. And then... Oh, nope, that was more. Okay. So then, last one. How terrible. I knew Madame Wooldridge. As you undoubtedly know, her family hosts the city's biggest charity event every year. They tell me the fundraiser will be moving forward despite the tragedy of the family. According to my sources, she loved that event dearly and definitely would have wanted it to proceed. Did you ever know her to dabble in occult matters? Knowing this woman as I did, I doubt it. It would help. If it would help, however, I've heard several elites are members of a clandestine occult group. I've only heard of the name the Golden Dawn. Hardly anyone knows about its existence. But you do have your way of knowing, don't you? I say teasingly, and he responds with a sly smirk. I do indeed. This is the first time Mr. Henkel and I are talking about something this gruesome, even though I've known him a long time. Yet as he spoke his condolences while seeing the corpse's photographs, his face remained blank, as if the words never reached his expression. His eyes didn't even flinch. How odd. I wonder if this lack of empathy is just a trait of being in the upper class. Yep, okay, so we've gotten everything we need. Yes, Mr. Henkel. Earlier you mentioned a prior arrangement, so I won't keep you any longer. Thank you for your time. You've been incredibly helpful. I'm delighted I could be of assistance. Reach out to me if you need anything else. I'll see you soon, yes? I give him a brief nod. Mr. Henkel then leaves my office. I'm alone again, but not for long. My assistant pops into the office. Professor, I'm heading home soon. Is there anything else I can do to help? No, I'll be perfectly fine. I think I'll stay and work a bit longer. Okay, see you tomorrow, Professor. Have a safe trip home. Upon wishing me the same, Minnie leaves. I have some time to wrap my workday. Okay, so we already recorded literally all of this. So I think what we're missing, invitation to the annual. Is there anything else I can get from this? No. My patron invited me to this event. I'm still not sure if I want to attend. Okay. So let's go over the blood samples then. I've read somewhere that most insects don't have iron in their blood. So if we use this, so it's a mixture of purple and red. That was my problem here essentially. So what do we know? Although quite rare, some high faes can transform living beings into solid objects such as stone or bone. Another example of fae magic is invisibility. Okay, the similarities of fairy kind of insects, as well as birds and others in the animal kingdom, manifest in terms of the variance of fairy magical abilities. One magical skill possessed by some fae is transfiguration. Oh, okay, this might have caught me off guard here then. Many high faes have heightened powers of suggestion through the emission of toxins capable of causing hypnosis or illusions. Although quite rare, some high fae can transform living beings into solid objects such as stone or bone. Another example of fae magic is invisibility, which is similar to camouflage. Okay, so the low fae faction is comprised of faes with limited parasitic magic. They're a widely maligned species that likes to consume human blood, hormones, and even souls. The scribes are known for their defensive magic and their intelligence. The warriors are known for their powerful and offensive magic. Okay, it's not well documented. It appears that there are quarrels between these factions as there is a certain level of disdain for the other faction. However, disputes also occur between fairies of the same faction. Nonetheless, both factions of high fae deem parasites despicable low fae due to the limited and parasitic nature of their magic. Okay, wait. The intrusive use of iron combined with physics and chemistry is applied by biologists to develop a special blacklight. Okay, never mind. Scale of values. Hold up. Scale of values. Numbers are P. Interesting. Okay. So these are scribe berries. Some scribe berries are also prone to pranks and mischief when they are bored. Warrior fairies, the high phase of the warrior faction, frequently reside in groups and are territorial. They are protective of their troops and tend. Okay. We already technically read all this. Remain within their own kind and seldom venture beyond the boundaries of the fairy realm, they are known for their aggressive temperament and volatile disposition. Caution is strongly advised when encountering and interacting with these beings. Okay. So, record. This is the regular blood, which doesn't do much. Alright. Arsenic, huh? So, what else are we missing? Mary Hatcher. Yep. Blood contains iron and other elements commonly found in human blood. Okay, so Mary Hatcher was possibly human. And what about this one? Blood type unknown. Other blood-related investigations are underway. Note blood does not contain iron. So, Edna, and it looks like more. Blood type unknown. Other blood-related investigations are underway. Note blood does not contain iron. So it's those two that don't contain iron for some reason. Why? Okay, and I need to actually go over this with a thing. There we go. This is Dr. Rayford's lab report on the blood samples. This content is quite similar to the forensics report. While elements similar found in human blood, such as phosphorus, carbohydrates, and some proteins are found in the third victim's blood, it doesn't contain iron. Moreover, the amount of phosphorus found in it is in a higher percentage than in human blood, making it possible for this to be the blood of a fairy. The fourth victim's blood appears to be normal human blood with iron present. Traces of arsenic are also found. Although there is some new information, I had expected the report to be more detailed. Then again, I did ask her to finish it as soon as possible, and she delivered. Okay. So that is all the info that we got right now. It's the next afternoon. I should be grading assignments, or reviewing the lecture I'm going to deliver on Monday, or do anything productive in the realm of professional duties. Instead, I find my attention straying more and more toward the office door. I voice my frustrations to good old Oz. Theo will probably arrive at any moment. I can't stop wondering whether my explanation will be enough for him. In the past, no sort of explanation ever seemed to please him when it came to fairies. And why should it do so now? My voice cracks with concern. This time he came to you bearing in mind the possibilities of fairy involvement. He'd be a fool if he discredits you so soon. My fairy companion's chirping becomes increasingly stern this time. But you need to get yourself together. You must remain steadfast and strong when facing the detective. Don't permit your voice to falter when presenting your findings. I know I can't let myself unravel at this point. It's just that he's never solicited my opinion quite in this manner. A professional insight, no less. All the more reason to be as calm as you can be. Maintaining your composure is essential to delivering a persuasive argument. But no matter what happens, at least you know you tried. At the end of the day, he's the only one who needs to solve this case. You're right, of course you are. I'm not a detective. I'm simply a professor sharing my perspective. Thank you, Oz, for always taking me off the ledge. Just then, somebody knocks on the door. That's my cue to sail past your window ledge. Best of luck. I whisper a hurried goodbye to my fairy friend. I'll see you tonight, Oz. Once Oz is flown out, I direct my attention toward the door. Come in. Okay, so, yep, we have a visitor, the detective. Alright, send him in. Okay. He finally stops and opens his mouth. So what have you learned? I take a deep breath. Here it goes. I had to present my findings to perhaps the most sought-after detective in the police force. He investigates cases right where the crime scenes unfolded. He's agonizingly familiar with the grit and the grime of the city's darkest recesses. Meanwhile, as a professor, my expertise primarily revolves around the nebulous, the theoretical. I must do my best to stay calm and collected, just as Oz suggested. I've read the case files. Victim's odd behavior shortly before death could be due to hypnotic spells from fairies. The fourth victim went to the police station, but before she had said anything, it seemed she saw something that scared her away. What if she saw something not human? In the manner of death, he interrupts me before I can finish. I have no time for assumption. The papers telephoned our department this morning. They said they found out about some of these deaths. So that's why he looks agitated. The chief is preparing a statement for tomorrow regarding this. So I'll just cut to the chase. Is there fairy involvement? Yes. Yes, I'm certain of it. I can tell his interest is piqued. However, I'd like to first lay out the basics, since I'm pretty sure you've discarded the things I've told you in the past. He grumbles as if in admission of my statement. So far, we've identified 3 classes of fairies: warrior, scribe, and parasitic fae. Warriors have strong offensive magic, scribes' magic tends to be defensive, and parasitic magic is, well, parasitic. We Faeologists have developed a tool called blacklight to detect traces of fae magic. It can even be detected through photographs if the magic is especially strong. Warrior magic glows red, scribe magic glows blue, and parasitic magic shines purple. I found that seemingly fairies of the one specific class are behind this. Which one is the culprit? I think... Okay, so it would be warrior fae involved. They're of the warrior class. What is the evidence? Okay, so the evidence would be the third victim's blood sample. How does this prove warrior involvement? True. Let's see. Wait, hold on. So, the blood is fairy blood. Okay, how does it prove the warrior's involvement? I sought the blood sample beneath the black light to show the magic traces. You see, there's a glow of purple and red under the black light. How do the purple traces or parasitic magic, as you say, have a part in this? Okay, so... How do the purple... Okay, the blood is fairy blood. That is because this blood is fairies and their blood contains traces of their own magic. This is further supported by the blood sample analysis. Fairies' blood has high content of phosphorus, just like reported. Adding to that the missing iron, fairies have an aversion toward iron, they don't have it in their blood. They can still, however, withstand the iron in human blood. That's why some parasitic fae like to drink our blood. As I ramble on, Theo listens intently with a slightly surprised look on his face every time I start a new sentence. To be honest, I'm out of words at the moment. What else do you got? Alright, this is where we bring up the dead fae, I believe, right? How does this prove warrior involvement? I put the dead fae beneath the black light. This is a dead parasitic fae. Look, it glows purple and red under the black light. I take it their bodies still glow even after they're dead. Correct, it takes a little while until their magic is fully dissipated from the corpse. It honestly looks like a normal bug to me. Hold on a sec. I turn to the shelves and pick up one of the boxes containing a deceased insect from my ongoing research. I open the lid and show it to Theo. I found this one dying just yesterday. It died shortly after. Swiftly I put it beneath the black light. A normal one doesn't glow, you see. Theo's expression is a blend of amusement and bewilderment. Quite interesting. And how does it end up here? A failed transformation magic. It's a parasitic fae that got warped by a coin due to transformation magic going awry. The coin and the evidence turned into this when I put it... Oh, hey Shadow, I'll be here often heading back to the hotel soon. How have you liked this one? I like the art. So far, it's been pretty good, honestly. I've actually thoroughly enjoyed this. This is my second run-through. I'm trying to get the good ending for this, and then I'm gonna take a little break and start back up at 6. So the coin, the evidence turned into this when I put it under the black light long enough, essentially revealing what it really was. So the third victim, Mrs. Niblets. What about her? Mr. Henkel said she has her numerous coin collection. Nice. Thank you. Thank you, Shadow. Right. Mr. Henkel said she has her numerous coin collection displayed in all of the rooms in her house. That particular coin must have been nearby when she met her fate. I can see a feeling of unease reflected in Theo's expression as he stares at me. I need a moment to adjust all of this. I nod and take a moment to arrange the box neatly before placing it back on the shelves. What else you got? Okay, so what else do we have? So I'm guessing this would be. Oh. Okay, so the dead Fae. I'm guessing the ring is next? How does this prove warrior involvement? I place the ring beneath the black light. You see, Mrs. Moore's rings glows purple and red under the black light. But why does it glow purple as well? It's parasitic Fae wrapped into a ring because of failed transformation magic. Right? That's what it is? It's part of a okay, so it's part of a transformation magic. Okay, so how did... No, wait. Okay, it's a part of transformation magic. But the question, why is it called purple as well? It's part of a transformation magic. That's because the ring is a part of a transformation magic. When the parasitic Fae is transformed into a changeling or human lookalike, high Fae magic is able to copy everything, including Mrs. Moore's wedding ring. There's sudden silence in the air as Theo's eyes widen in consternation. What the heck are we dealing with here? He mutters in a voice that is filled with dismay. There appears to be a strong evidence pointing towards warrior involvement. Based on what you've shown me, parasitic Faes are one way or another connected to the manner of killing. But you also haven't told me how the warrior fairies killed the victims. Give it to me straight. How do we figure the murders were carried out? So... Okay, so the answer to this one is warriors replaced victims with changelings and killed the changelings with occasional hallucinogenic spells. The warrior high Fae used their transformation magic to turn parasitic Fae into human lookalikes of the victims, which are often called changelings. Changelings. I take out the crime scene photographs of middle-aged victims and lay them on the table. Using the magnifying glass, I show the oddity in the victim's hands to Theo. This is one of the possible anomalies that is likely to happen due to complexity of transformation magic used in creating changelings. As famous as these ladies' families are, it would have been a big thing on the papers if they had 6 fingers from when they were children. I don't seem to remember anything like that in the newspapers, do you? No, me neither. Theo looks away as though trying to remember all the newspapers he has read. It also explains the missing iron in the blood sample, since the corpses are not human. I wait until Theo meets my gaze, again before continuing. They then murder the changelings using ossification and hallucination magic. It is done to cover up what they really did to the real humans. Wait, what? They really did, like what? What they really did, like what? It can be anything. The real humans might be kidnapped to the fairyland, destined to wed certain fairies and bring forth offspring, or be employed as a slave, or tortured for amusement until they die. I shiver at the thought of it happening to the poor ladies. Theo appears to be unsettled by the same thought as well. Hold on, are you saying that they might still be alive? There is a chance. Unlikely, though. Yet the realm of the fairies is still an enigma, even for those who study their kind. The Faeologists in the university have barely met any living fairies. You're aware of how fresh this field is within academia, aren't you? Theo nods. It pains me to admit that I generally do not know how to get them back. I will keep trying nonetheless. We both fall silent, as though a heavy weight has settled in our throats, refusing to budge. We can also look at this case from another angle. The motives. Based on your investigation, what could be the rationale behind the warrior fairies' actions? It's difficult to pinpoint the reason why fairies do what they do, since they don't follow human rules or morality. However, I found that... Okay. Warriors are targeting people blessed by the scribes. The middle-aged women are blessed by scribe fays, shown by the sigils on one of their hands. I say as I hover the black light on top of the family photographs one by one. I mentioned before that especially strong magic can be seen even through photographs. Yes, I remember. He answers while taking the black light out of my hand and checking the sigils himself. 2 sigils light up on Mrs. Wooldridge's family photograph and one on Mrs. Moore's. The sigil is a sign of being blessed by one of the scribe fae, usually given when someone has done a very special boon, or for a scribe. It gives a good fortune and is passed down through generations. As you know, the middle-aged victims and their families are old rich families that have stayed on top for many decades. That's how strong the magic is. Mrs. Moore was adopted. That's why it's only her who has it. Her late biological parents hailed from a distinguished and affluent lineage. Theo points at the faces in Mrs. Wooldridge's photographs, and he is the biological father while the other 2 are step-family. I nod at him. I'm positively sure that, should we check into Mrs. Niblet's family photograph, she and her children would display the same sigils. I'll see what I can do. Oh, and I also meant as a warning for the others not to harm the marked human. Oh, and it's also meant as a warning for others not to harm the marked human. I guess that warning didn't work in this case, did it? No, it did not. Well, I suppose this does make sense, and it's a pattern. Yes, this might be targeted murders. He then casts a glance my way with an air of satisfaction around him and breaks into a smile. Good job. Considering how rarely he gives commendations, this sounds like the compliment of a lifetime. I can feel my confidence is going through the roof. Thank you. Lastly, what have you found on the poor girl Mary Hatcher? Any connections to fairies? The chemist's report is similar to the case files. The blood is normal human blood, traces of arsenic. I didn't find any signs of fairy magic from the evidence. Even so, based on her relation to Mrs. Niblet, we can't discard the possibility that fairies might be involved with her death too. Theo nods in agreement. I have one more piece of information to tell you. Really? What is it? Mr. Henkel told me that there exists a clandestine occult group called the Golden Dawn. I asked him about this since the police report suggested some occultism might be involved. Hardly anyone, even from the upper class, has ever heard of it. He said several elites are members of it. He picks out a small notebook and a pen from his trench coat and starts writing. I'm not sure if this is useful. Every scrap of information counts. I ought to note down the things we've talked about today as well. Your findings really threw me for a loop. I forgot to take notes. Of course, take your time. While Theo was writing, I tidied up my desk and put the evidence back in the box. Anything else you got? That's all I have for now. He puts his notebook and his pen back in his coat. He heaves a sigh so heavy I can believe has the weight of the city on his shoulders. Even so, when he looks at me, there's a glint of something that wasn't there before. This fleck of illumination is all the more stark since we've started this discussion. It's hope, perhaps. A tiny, delicate thing is blooming in this room to counteract the overwhelming darkness and despair outside. I always knew you were clever, but I have to say, you've outdone yourself this time. I'm impressed. From start to finish, you were able to line the evidence perfectly with your theories. Everything makes perfect sense. I can't believe you're saying all this. I'm feeling like $1,000,000. Thank you, Theo. It means so much coming from you. Haven't I always told you make a good detective? Yes, he has. Feels nostalgic all of a sudden. Feels like such a long time ago. That got a good smirk out of him. Well, we've still got our work cut out for us. But at least for now, innocent people won't get thrown in jail thanks to you. I just need to convince the chief in the papers. Though with your findings, I'm sure it would make it a lot easier. If anyone can pull it off, it's you. Even with a ragamuffin look, there's something about you that makes people listen to you and trust you. Well, now you did fall for this ragamuffin. And how do you know it wasn't your constant brush with danger that drew me in? Oh, I know. I'm sure of a comeback for once. He knows just how to catch me off guard. All of a sudden, the playful glint in his eyes disappears, replaced by a serious stare. Listen, I might have to bring up your name in my report. I can't predict how the papers will handle this, but it's possible they'll mention you in Faeology. This is good for your field, of course, but it could draw unwanted, dangerous attention your way. I'll be fine, Theo. I can protect myself. This is what the field needs. Indeed, you're more than capable of taking care of yourself. I know that very well. I do appreciate your worrying over me. Theo's concern seems to fade, and he lets out a sigh of relief. Well, this day's certainly been a ride. He glances at his wristwatch. I've still got time until I have to get back to the station. Fancy a drink with me? You can tell me more about fairies. I'll listen with way less judgment this time. Just like I promised. Sure. Would you mind waiting until I finish grading a few assignments? It'll take like 10 minutes at most. Go ahead. And we're grading our assignments. I focus my attention on the assignments. There's a minute of companionable silence. Scribbling on my pen is the only noise audible. Theo then speaks. You know what we should toast to when we drink? What? We should toast to being a good team. We're a team, are we? Aren't we? Or at least we should be. Your knowledge of the fairies is exactly what we need to make some sense of all this. And it's not just that. Your talent for investigation is as impressive as they come. If you act as a consultant in a high-profile case like this, you'd be handsomely compensated, of course. Imagine what those funds could do for your phaeological research. So what do you think? Would you ever consider joining the investigation in official capacity? I'll consider it. And... oh, nice! Ending 1, Detective Duo. How many endings are in this again? It's another afternoon in the office. My patron has stopped by to discuss a research project I've been considering. Now that Faeology might get increased credibility, especially with the police, I think we should examine the prevalence of strange deaths caused by fairies, don't you think, Mr. Henkel? Hey, Ralston. The police might agree to help us collect the data. I'm not so sure about that. It would take time for the police to trust us to that extent. Thank you for the like. Besides, wouldn't it be more pressing to focus your research on warrior phase? We have to talk. What? Before I can respond, two individuals suddenly barged into my office. Sorry, I tried to stop him, but he couldn't, even though I told him you're in a meeting right now. That's okay, Minnie. You can let me handle this. If you say so, Professor. Minnie grumbles at Theo as she walks out. What's eating you, Theo? Theo doesn't so much as glance at Mr. Henkel. He unfurls a rolled-up newspaper from the inner pocket of his coat. He hands it to me. Oh. Oh no. Dance till death. At a glance, I see the phrases fairies are real, evil is afoot, and fairies killing humans, spelled out in bold, oversized letters. Uh-oh. As I begin reading, my patron peers over my shoulder to read as well. It's not the chief's statement that made the front page. It's another bizarre murder. And this time, the victim is a beloved celebrity. Oh, no. She danced until her body gave out. They wrote all of the excessively grisly details connected to her death. I think you should try out Think of the Children You Can Play With Your Friends. It's really fun. Okay. Maybe a different stream. Not this week. I already got a whole thing lined up for this week. Right. Moreover, the reports surrounding the other homicides have been thoroughly sensationalized and exaggerated. They've depicted fairies as evil enemies of mankind, and in some parts, they even insinuate that war between beings is brewing. Uh-oh. Reading all of this makes my heart sink and my stomach churn. I need to put the paper down for a moment. This is truly awful. I've already checked the crime scene. The details of this latest incident look similar to what we've uncovered from the previous murders. Given everything, I'd say fairies definitely in the picture here too. Though it's still hard to make heads or tails of all this. It's very difficult to grasp their motives, but judging by the methods and frequency, I have to say this is significant. Something big might be going on in this land of the fairies. As the conversation unfolds, Mr. Henkel appears to be deeply in thought. I need you to check something really quick. Theo gives a photograph of the celebrity. Knowing exactly what he wants, I retrieve the black light from my drawer and examine the photograph closely. Both Theo and Mr. Henkel peek over my shoulder to see. A sigil, the same one as the other three victims had. I suppose we can now establish that these are targeted murders. I nod at him. For once, for some reason, Mr. Henkel is nodding with me. Although the fourth victim, Mary Hatcher, doesn't have the sigil, does she? Did you find anything more about it? Theo shakes his head, leaving behind a troubled look. Nobody in the purchase records has a strong link to this girl. We're asking around here and there. The girl was a saint. Everybody loved her. Her squabble with Mrs. Niblet is the strongest lead we have. A striking realization dawns upon me. What if a fairy transformed into a human and purchased the poison? What? They can do that? Suddenly, Mr. Henkel's familiar voice fills the room after his long stretch of silence. Oh yes, detective. Although when a fairy shifts into a human shape, they cannot assume the identity of somebody already living. Your culprit may well be a name on the list, but one that doesn't truly exist. I give a nod in agreement with his words, feeling slightly proud that my patron is reading all the knowledge this university has to offer. Theo flinches at Mr. Henkel's input, clearly having dismissed him as part of the furniture. Then he scoffs. Theo! All I get from Theo is a shrug. Surprisingly, he turns toward the patron. From what I've come to understand, fairy magic is more than capable of doing the killing. They have no need for poison. But I won't disregard the possibility. Mr. Henkel only replies with a smile. Well, that's certainly a rare occasion. Theo goes back to ignoring Mr. Henkel and talks to me directly. I should mention that I've gotten permission for you to check the crime scene. Come with me tomorrow? I'll see what I can do. Alright, I've got to go. I'm leaving the newspaper here. There are more articles about Faeology that you should read. Without so much as a word of goodbye to Mr. Henkel, Theo turns and leaves. I thought I already got the ending, though. Why are we still here? I pick up the paper again and continue reading, while Mr. Henkel silently reads alongside me. The field of Faeology is indeed mentioned quite markedly, but its loyalty to humankind is under scrutiny. Although the police chief spoke of our help, the papers continue to raise doubts about our involvement in these killings. Is the Faeology University a friend? Or a foe? Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, my goodness. Okay, so that's who the music is by. Oh, that is insane. That is insane. Okay, alright. So, that is, Death in Faeology. It is a demo. It is still a demo. So, if you guys want, when it comes out, make sure to leave a like, and in the comments section, if you guys want me to come back and play this when it actually does come out. But, as of right now, this is essentially the demo for Death in Faeology, as part of the Choose Wisely event festival. Now, as I did say, we are going to end this game right here, but I will be back at around 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for another game that is also by the same company. So if you guys want to stick around, watch out for that. I will be back in about 6 o'clock, so in about an hour and a half. And yeah, if you guys want to check out more of me though, all my stuff is down in the description below if you're on YouTube. I also have my social handles over there. Make sure to check out Studio Afua, and thank you Studio Afua for hosting this channel, or hosting the event. And thank you so much at Mushroomallow for letting me play this game, and this was absolutely amazing. We will also be seeing another game by the same game studio, so like I said, 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time today, we'll be back. We'll be playing the new game with a new update. And that is all I got for right now, so I will see you guys in the next stream. Bye!